36-year-old dance teacher Katie Lund died when her car was hit by the train. ABC 7 Sarah Schulte is live.
My daughter Katie, again, the University Park accident that occurred. Obviously, she was coming back from a dance outing where she'd been supporting her students that she taught. And at the time of night when that got over with, she was coming across that crossing at Stenkel Road, and the signal didn't work, and her car was hit by an Amtrak train, and she was killed. Katie spent her teenage years and her short adult life dedicated to dance and teaching others the art of dance. She taught youngsters from adults at the Naperville School of Performing Arts, and she also taught little ones at the Joffrey Academy. It's a part of the Joffrey Ballet group, but again, her focus was on tap dancing. She was a real good tap dancer, and that's what her focus was. She just loved. I mean, that was her love of life, is to teach kids the art of dance, and really to go further than that, to teach them about life. She spent a lot of time working with kids. Again, Naperville being kind of an affluent neighborhood, she tried to teach the kids about values, and again, not that they don't have that, but she really worked hard to try to work with kids and teach them about life. If you go look at us, I guess, as a family, from the time when Katie was 2 years old, we really, with the company that I worked for, I've worked for the same company for 36 years. We did a lot of moving around. So through that period of time, our family became very close. Obviously, when you move that much, a lot of you probably have moved a lot. When you move that much, you realize that, every time you go to a new location, you only have each other, right? So it takes a little while to gain friends and meet people. So our family is very, very close. We were fortunate that Katie was able to come home the Easter before the accident. The night before she went back to Chicago, which would have been a Sunday night, and her birthday was the following Tuesday, but she put together a little DVD for me, and again, she said, "To Dad, love Katie," and had a little smiley face on it, and that's one of the things now you just cherish forever. But before she left that night, I gave her a big hug, told her that we'd see her in 3 weeks because Julie and I had a trip planned out there, told her to have a happy birthday, but, be good, and she said, "Oh, Dad." Then, obviously, the unthinkable happened. And then about 2:30 in the morning, we had a knock at the door, and my wife looked out the window, and she could see a sheriff's car. And first thing out of her mouth, she goes, "Oh, this isn't good." So I went and answered the door. The sheriff asked me if I asked me if I had a daughter named Katie that lived in Chicago, and I said yes. And he said, "There's been an accident, and I got a number for you to call." At that time, called the number, and it was a Will County Sheriff, and they told us that our daughter was killed.
Katie Lund, a popular local dance instructor, was pronounced dead last night after her silver SUV was struck by a northbound Amtrak train at the crossing near Stunkel Road and Governor's Highway in University Park just after 9:30. The train, carrying 155 passengers, struck Katie's vehicle as she was returning home to Chicago. She had spent the evening watching her dancers rehearse for a performance that was to be held today at Governor State University.
The days following the crash, really kind of undescribable. You go through about every emotion you can imagine. You go through sadness, obviously. You go through disbelief. You go through anger. When her body was brought back to Iowa, we had a viewing just for immediate family members. We actually had Katie cremated, but again, that's one of the things you don't know. You don't talk to your children about what are you going to do, We had a viewing before that. And we have this thing in our family because obviously we'd moved so much. We'd come back to Iowa to visit, and when we get done visiting or whatever, we never said goodbye. We always said, "See you later." It was one of those things, we just didn't say goodbye to people. We didn't say goodbye to each other. I just remember bending over the casket, running my hand through Katie's hair, kissing her on the forehead, and just telling her that I'll see her later. after the funeral, my wife Julie, she committed really all the time that she had to developing a charitable foundation. We started the Katie Lund Keep the Smile Alive charitable foundation. I tried to commit myself to finding out really what caused the accident, what caused the crash. I'm not sure that you're aware, but your company, Illinois Central, admitted full liability because they did realize the mistakes that were made. Again, when you look at the root cause, one of the things I guess in our company we really dig at is trying to find the true root cause of everything that happens. And then we try to, again, implement processes and procedures to correct those root causes. I think there's a little bit of a philosophical difference maybe between the way I believe, I guess, and some of the comments that I've heard with the company, that because I've heard comments like that that accidents will happen, or accidents do happen. I firmly believe that every accident is practiced before it happens. I think there's near misses that occur out there time and time again, that if we focus on the leading indicators being the near misses and we make corrective actions on those near misses, that we can avoid the catastrophic things from happening. So I really ask your company to really look hard at that. Mr. Krill did explain to me some of the changes that you guys have made in your processes, that where now you got an owner, one person that has to sign off on them, that type of thing. And I think that's a great thing, because that would have made a difference that day for sure, had that have been in place. So I feel comfortable that the public is safe. I think that what's going on. He also made a comment to me. He goes, you can have all the procedures and processes in place. He goes, but how do you ensure that every person does them? And again, that's where you all come into play big time, because you've got to double check what you're doing, double check what your people are doing, do what you can do to ensure that the processes and procedures are being followed correctly. I ask this of all of you: follow the procedures, and if there's something missing in a procedure, stop, think, and ask. Try to get it included in the procedure. Don't think that because you identified it and you made a correction, that if you don't put it in the procedure, the next guy that does it's going to miss it. So get actively involved in making a difference. If there's any way this can be used with other people within your organization, within the industry, or whatever, I'd love to see it happen. If there's any way at all that I can meet with every person in this industry, I would do what I could do to do it. I just want to make sure there's not another father, brother, mother's son, daughter that has to bend over that casket. And kiss their child on the forehead. And tell them we'll see you later.